to mediocrity and beyond. This film lacks any originality, any creative ideas. It just borrows ideas from science fiction films and meshes it together, even though it doesn't work. You know why the whole lesbian kiss is overshadowing this movie? Because there's nothing else to talk about with this film. Lightyear is the latest Toy Story spin-off from Pixar Animation Studios, a studio that I have loved over the years. I have loved almost every Pixar film. And the best things about Pixar are not present in this film at all. This film, very lazily, pretty much tells you from the start that this film is the film that Andy watched in 1995 that convinced him to buy a Buzz Lightyear toy. A lot of issues right from the get-go with that. Number one, the movie tells you in the most lamest possible way with text. Couldn't you have shown us Andy enjoying the movie in a packed theater? Like something interesting? Now, if you've seen the trailers for Lightyear, there's a clear issue right from the get-go. Visually, aesthetically wise, this film does not look anything like 1995. In fact, this film fits right in there with 2022 and woke Hollywood, so nothing about this reminds me of anything to do with 1995. Tonally, we have really bad, cringy Saturday morning cartoon dialogue, and yet we have a film that looks like it's an animated Interstellar. So they don't mesh well at all. The film looks great from a cinematography standpoint. There's lots of beautiful shots, but I just feel that this film lacks color. Like, this is a kid's movie. Inject some color, some vibrancy in it. The color grading is very dull. It takes place entirely on one planet. This one planet is apparently the most dull, boring planet visually. Every popular science fiction film, when they go to another planet, the planet is a character in itself. But I felt nothing about that with this movie. We learn nothing about the planet. All we know is there's very stock standard kind of creatures that look like they've been ripped off of movies like Alien, and then evil robots that look very generic as well. So the film's planet that it's set on has no intrigue, no mystery about it. We learn nothing about it. We don't care about it. Another problem with this film is its main character, Buzz Lightyear. Now, in the Toy Story films, Buzz always, especially in the first film, has this feeling of a macho kind of solo dude. He doesn't like to work with a team. He handles things himself. And especially with a movie that would have been set in 1995, this would have all made sense. This is a popular trope from 90s action films. So it would have been fun to play with those tropes. But this film is so scared to make an unlikable character. The film does not want you to hate or dislike Buzz Lightyear in any way. He doesn't grow as a character throughout the film, and the things he does grow from, or the lessons he learns, are so on the nose that you know where the movie is going. This film straight away has Buzz saying he doesn't work with rookies, hates robots. Rather than the movie showing us through behavior, it just wants to tell you through the dialogue. Buzz probably says, "I hate autopilots" 20 times in the first 10 minutes of this movie. Gee, I wonder what lesson he's gonna learn. I wonder what's gonna happen by the end of the film. Overall, not just with Buzz, this film lacks subtext. Everything that is said is exactly what the characters mean, which makes for some very dull and boring characters and just exchanges. The film doesn't know what it wants to say at all. It's got a million different messages about time travel, about the dangers of not being present in the moment, not living life properly. If you keep jumping across through life, then you lose track of life. Kinda. All this film had to do was copy the Buzz Lightyear spin-off, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. That's all this movie had to do. That film looks more interesting than this film. Clearer character design, clearer tone, fun action. They go across different planets. Another thing, I like Chris Evans. I like his performance in a lot of films, but he just doesn't have, for whatever reason, maybe it's because he's not that familiar with voice acting, I'm not too sure. His direction is very dull, grounded, and lacks any kind of excitement. His jokes don't work, his delivery doesn't work. I really did not understand why Tim Allen couldn't do this role. It's not like it's an action movie where he's gonna have to do stunts. That's one of the reasons people didn't want to watch this movie. They didn't want to see another actor voice the character, especially when the other actor is around and is like, yeah, I could have done it. It's such an easy decision, but it changes everything about this movie. The other thing about this film is there's emotional beats in this film that mean nothing. We don't care about it because we don't know enough about the characters. This film has a goodbye moment where I felt nothing. Then when I watch Up, that sequence has no dialogue. I will have a tear in my eye after watching that scene. It hurts you because you feel for these characters. You see them grow together and have these really nice memories. But in this film, when you see Buzz losing his partner, you don't know anything about them. You haven't seen any memories be established. All the movie wants to do is tell you that they've had memories together and have Buzz just praise the crap out of his partner and be like, oh my God, she's so good. She is my world. She made me the best. As an audience member, I'd rather see some flashbacks of you guys working together. I don't want to just hear about it. Bringing it back to the lesbian kiss, all this controversy is about something that doesn't even have anything to do with the story. And if this is like one of the first Pixar animated films to kind of draw on and have presenting a lesbian relationship, why not make it more a part of the story? If you know you're gonna ruffle feathers anyway, might as well go the full mile, no? It's just kind of like there for the sake of it, and you feel it when you watch it. What if Buzz, didn't understand the relationship, didn't accept it, and then had to grow and learn to accept it? I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but that's more interesting than what we got in this movie. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Bringing it back to one of the key lessons that Buzz needs to learn in this movie is to work as a team. He gets an opportunity where he's pretty much wanted by a Star Command for breaking the rules of pursuing his mission, trying to get everyone off the planet, regardless, even though he's been told by his general not to. Keeps doing it. So now he's wanted by Star Command, and the granddaughter of his partner, they team up, and she has a bunch of friends too. So they make this crew. This crew is terrible. This crew sucks. Like, they have no training. You know when you see films like there'll be the really powerful guy who teams up with a ragtag crew of people. Each character has their own set of skills, which make them work with the team. But here, when you put Buzz in this team, they can't do anything right. They're useless, to the point where Buzz is actually better off without them. There's a character called, I can't even remember his name. The character's played by Taika Waititi. This character is so bumbling and so stupid. He does the most cliched crap that you've seen in films. You know, like resting on the wall and like, whoops, uh-oh, I pulled a lever and the alarms go off. Crap like that. But he does it like 3 or 4 times in this movie. So you keep thinking to yourself, Buzz, just kill this guy, honestly. Like, the team is better without him. So he's a super annoying character, and it doesn't work with the lesson that Buzz needs to learn, because at the end of the film, when he, you guessed it, decides to work with this team again, the audience is all thinking, no, pick the pro soldiers. I guess one of the final things I can say about this film is its villain. Let's give a spoiler warning, because there's no way to explain it without, spoiling it. Zurg is actually Buzz. Yeah, Zurg is Buzz. A couple of reasons why it doesn't work. Number one, you don't believe it. You don't believe that there could be this corrupt version, especially with Buzz being so cookie cutter and so perfect. Number two, you could have made it Buzz's dad, and it would have made a lot more sense. They even mention it. Like, as soon as he unmasks, Buzz is like, Dad? Dad? And the audience is like, oh yeah, should be Dad. And he's like, nope, I'm you. And I was like, nah, this movie. You could have made Buzz's dad went crazy because his son went missing. He missed his son. He felt Star Command had screwed him over and not looked after his son or protected him. The other thing could have been to just make Zurg a generic, robot villain, which obviously isn't going to be as interesting, but the rest of the film isn't that interesting anyway, so at least people were going to be like, well, the villain is a villain that we want to see vanquished. So Lightyear is a spin-off that tonally doesn't know what it wants to be, has horrible dialogue, very cringy dialogue, visually stylish and stunning animation, but unfortunately lacks the character and the personality that we know and love about Buzz Lightyear. So I'm giving Lightyear a 2 out of 5 stars. This is nowhere near the best of Pixar. This is more along the lines of like Cars 1, 2, and 3. It's funny to me because even if people didn't like Turning Red, I felt like Turning Red was more original, it was more creative, it did more with what it was trying to get across. It had a clearer purpose. This film has none of that. Its purpose is clearly to make money. After I watched this film, I actually went to like Kmart and all those stores and looked at the toys. Even the toys are boring. Like, what the hell? So yeah, that's Lightyear. Lightyear is a mess of recycled ideas from much better films and a convoluted mess of a story. It makes lots of big decisions that ruin what should have been a very easy film to nail at the box office. And it shows with Jurassic World Dominion destroying this film in the box office and this film not doing very well, or considered a flop with its $200 million budget. It's pretty clear to see why this movie is not doing well. I definitely need to go watch Toy Story 1 to 4 to just cleanse my palate after this. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Lightyear. But what did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And also, what did you think of the controversy about the whole lesbian kiss? Was it controversial? Did you feel it was unnecessary? Did you feel it was good that we're moving towards normalizing these things in children's films? What are your thoughts? I don't mind. Comment below, let me know. And yeah, that's me, guys. To infinity and beyond.